Good morning. I'm Steve Wolf, Wholesale Marketing Associate at Sprague.
And I'm Joel Williams, Director of Refined Product Sales here at Sprague.
Welcome to Sprague's Refined Products Review, where we discuss what's moving the market and giving you the insight into what we see every day. So Joel, since we talked last time, the market's been climbing pretty steadily.
Yeah, Steve, what we've seen here is, the last couple of weeks we spoke about the risk premium that was out there in the market, and the market pretty much being happy with the risk, premium that they had in there, given what was going on. Obviously, they see a lot more risk. The market sees a lot more risk this week, and largely that's around Iran. The talks are still going on. There's talks set for tomorrow in Geneva. But the buildup of military assets in the Middle East is something that can't be ignored. And the market's basically saying, we do believe there's a chance that this could turn into a military strike or at least significantly impact the flow of oil coming out of Iran. And as such, prices have come up. Now, one thing we do have on the other side, though, is kind of keeping those prices from going too far up, is we still have a lot of those oversupply concerns. And, there's still expected to be a crude build, in the coming months. And on top of that, we're also starting to see a lot of crude stranded out at sea right now. Now, a lot of that crude is actually Russian crude, Venezuelan crude, or Iranian crude, and it's kind of stuck because it's under sanctions. So that's a little bit different than we see other crude builds at sea. But at some point that crude will find its way to market, and again that will kind of keep a lid here on prices. But we're at a 7-month high for crude oil, and heating oil's followed it right up. So that's kind of where we're at today.
What about demand? Where do you see demand shifting here into late Feb, early March?
The heating oil demand now will start to wane at some point here. We obviously have a lot of cold weather left, but we'll start to see that wane. And then the big, question becomes the worldwide economy at that point. When you're looking at diesel and oil consumption across the world, a lot to be told still around tariffs. And, we had a big ruling by the Supreme Court last week, and Trump's come back with some other tariffs. So there's a lot to be settled out in kind of how robust the economy is going to be going forward. And obviously that will drive a lot of where we see demand go. I still think the oversupply will be able to handle more than that demand. So even if we do see some unexpected, economic gains, we'll still have a little bit of a cap there.
What about an update on the logistics concerns that we've talked about past few weeks as well?
Most of the East Coast came to a standstill yesterday. You see, snow totals of over 20 inches in Central Park, over 30 inches in Providence. And not only that, but it was the wind and a nor'easter. So, as much as that created snow and logistic challenges for trucks, all the vessels stopped moving. So, what we've seen here again is sort of a expected hiccup in the supply chain that comes in winter. And so, you will probably see some people getting tight, and, it could be, some challenges out there in terms of obviously cleaning out your terminal, you guys getting your trucks back on the road and everything else. So there will be some challenges, but I think that we're, set up in a pretty good place to manage them, again, as the weather starts to moderate a little bit here.
Any final thoughts for the viewers here today?
The good news was that basis did kind of come in line close to where we would expect it to be at the end of the month. It's odd that it took the whole month to get there. So that still shows some kind of constraints in the market. The backwardation has gotten enormous for the roll for this month. So that will create some erratic pricing and some, challenges for suppliers out there of determining how to, keep their terminals supplied in an economical sense. So there's certainly challenges out there for that. As for what's trading in New York Harbor, nothing traded yesterday, but that had nothing to do with supply or demand. That had to do with the logistics. So really, as kind of the Northeast digs out over the next few days, I think we'll see the market react and give us some more clear signals as to what to expect for the next week or two.
Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Joel. Looks like you're having a great time out there in Colorado.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's sunny and not a lot of snow out here, and all the snow's back there. But thanks for having me. It was good to do this remotely this week, Steve.
Be sure to mark your calendars for our next special feature, an overview of Sprague's Women in Leadership, releasing next Friday, March 6th.
Yep. Well, that's it for today. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday with another Refined Products Review. Refine your insight.
Feel your success.
Steve, if you want to make a comment about Well, thanks so much for joining me from sunny Colorado.
My dad's in Denver right now. He's like, send me a selfie. Yes, 65
Yeah.
and sunny. I was like, oh my